Do you want to learn how to invest in real estate, but you don't have the funding, you don't know how to find good deals, or you suffer from the paralysis of analysis, or perhaps you just don't have the confidence or education? Well, what you really need is hands-on training. Now, this kind of siding is called cedar siding. Now, this is just a wood siding. It's made out of wood. It's cedar. You could get by with it because it's not all bent up, but you can see it's starting to get banana shaped. So the first thing it's asking you is to look at the windows. Do you need new windows, or are those
Take a look.
good?
This is 95.
That's probably it right there. I'm Tony Youngs. I've been a real estate investor for over 35 years. And for the last 30 years, I've been all over the United States training students like you in their own hometowns. What I do is I come to your hometown and we go out and we find all the distressed properties in a 5-mile radius of your home. And we analyze them, we inspect them, we do title searches on them to see if there's any liens, we do the comps, and then we sit down and we write bona fide offers. Now, this may be the missing piece to your puzzle. You've been going to classes, you've been listening to podcasts, you've been on the internet, but there's nothing compares to someone taking you by the hand in your own backyard and showing you how it's done. You see, I get you involved in the transaction.
But it was nobody except for what Tony Young did for us as far as putting it into practice. And that is invaluable.
And it's done in your own backyard. You see, everybody suffers from 3 basic fears. Fear number 1, you're afraid you're going to pay too much for a property. That's why I take you out and we look at 30 or 40 houses and I teach you how to determine the value. You see, recently we went through a time in our careers where homes were getting 50 offers if they put them on the market. And so it's so important to know the value of a house today because people aren't getting 50 offers anymore. So I'm going to take you to so many houses and make sure you know how to determine the value of a property in your own backyard. One of your fears is, what if I get these offers accepted and I don't have the money? Well, I'm going to teach you all the techniques that you can apply to a situation without any money. You can do owner financing, you can take over existing loans, or you can wholesale to other investors.
The way he showed us how to pick up investors. I really enjoyed the fact that he was able to walk up to the doorway, knock on an investor's door, and get his name and tell him, hey, we got property for you. We'll wholesale it. And they said, that's great.
A business card from you, and would you be interested in looking at any of those?
Sure, absolutely. Got the email on here. You can shoot me an email with the flyer or whatever you got.
There is so much money available out there. If you get really good at finding good deals the way I teach you, all the people with money in your area are going to approach you wanting to back you, partner with you, or buy the deals you find from you. There's no problem with getting money these days. I've never seen so much money available, and everybody wants to invest their money in something. So what you need to do is get really good at finding good deals. Because if you're not making offers, you're not making money. And that's what I'm going to teach you to do, is how to make offers. Now what I do is, now that we've seen the house, we've inspected the house, we've estimated the repairs, we've determined the value, now I'm going to go ahead and type up an offer.
We have written at least 5 offers last night. We probably have 10 more to write just on reload properties alone. And we have found hidden markets. We found people that wanted to find a house to rent with a lease option. We've had so many houses to look at that we have enough to keep me busy for probably at least 2 to 3 months just working the leads that we got.
Fear number 2. You're afraid that you might buy a house with a major foundation problem or something. Well, that's why we go to so many houses, and I teach you how to inspect them, how to analyze them, and how to take a piece of paper that tells you everything you need to look at in a house. And then if it needs fixing, it tells you how much to write down so you can do an estimate at the same time. Now you also want to look at the windows. Do those windows need replacing? And if the windows do need replacing, what you got to do is count the windows, and you've got to figure in $200 per window installed. Next, we're going to look at this air conditioning unit. You see this date right here?
I feel like I know how to inspect a property. I had to put my boots on so I could walk around the backyards. We saw some that were vacant, some that were occupied, but you showed me how to look at them, how to evaluate them from the eyes of the investor who would come after me, who would be doing the rehab. So that part is going to work well in my ability to determine how to price my offer, leaving room for the next investor so that they can still make money.
I think the training itself was the most ideal for us in the situation of being live, actually seeing it real, experiencing it out in the field, having somebody to teach you and hold your hand basically as you walk through and learn about the properties.
You have great one-on-one skills. You make people feel right at home. You make them feel comfortable, and you make everyone feel like they can do it too. You go right to the door with them. You show them exactly what to say. You go over all your contracts step by step by step, exactly what to do. You covered short sales. You covered what to say when you talk to the banks, to the lenders, to the homeowners, and you showed us how to buy a property with absolutely nothing down, no credit, even if someone's had a bankruptcy.
And I took Tony Young's course on buying real estate, and during one of the class visits during the training, we visited a fellow that was in bankruptcy, and we were able to, even though he was in the bankruptcy process, my wife and I were able to learn how to buy the property through the bankruptcy.
Fear number 3. What if I buy a house that has liens on it? Well, that's why I'm going to teach you how to do your own title search to find out if there's any liens. And we're going to do this on every property we find during your training session. And you'll know how to do that for the rest of your life. And then there's also other ways that you cannot possibly buy a house with liens, because when you go to the closing, they're going to follow up and do a title search also and offer you title insurance.
It's right here.
Oh, there it is. 132215002.
You would go to the owner's name and then go back to the very beginning and put her name in where you put the APN number in. Okay, so she took out a mortgage in '05. And then what happened is,
I appreciate your taking us down and teaching us how to do title searches. There's been nobody else that's offered that training.
Learning how to do that, I think, just saves so much time, because my partner and I have kind of been out there doing it for about a 2-month period of time and just found that that was the one thing that took the most amount of time, cost, expense of trying to get somebody to do the title search for you. The way you took us through the title search, it was so easy to do. We were wondering why we were spending money doing title searches.
There's many trainings out there, and they're very expensive. But I'm the only one that actually comes to your state to teach you in your market.
He brought in California-specific contracts. He took us to a California county office, showed us how to use the recorder's office, how to use the contracts when we bought the house.
I bought it for $30,700, and it appraised. I found out the appraisal value, fixed up appraised value today, I found out was $120,000.
I was able to get this house for $57,000, and it's in relatively good condition.
And I saw several properties that I think will be beneficial, where I'll be able to get grant money for the project, for rehabbing the house, for setting up that whole business. Children are my passion, and I am so looking forward to putting the two together, meshing the grant money with the properties we found, making the offers and making that work for children.
During my training, while I'm teaching you, I always do the first couple of properties, the talking to sellers, the doing the inspections, but then I start letting you do the talking and you do the inspections while I stand over your shoulder. It's the best way to learn. You've got to feel it. So I stick with you until you get it.
He's a great teacher, and man, he sticks by your side till you get it.
You know, we live in such a competitive market. There's billboards saying we buy houses, there's television commercials, there's radio commercials, there's bandit signs everywhere. If you go to a foreclosure auction, there's investors bidding on houses. You have to do the hidden market. And that's what I do. I take you out to find these hidden gems, because these hedge funds and these institutional buyers and these big money investors, they're not going away. They're going to be here for the rest of our lives. So if you want to get into real estate, you must do the hidden market, because that's what's going to last you for the rest of your life, is finding these hidden deals the way I teach you. So get signed up for this hands-on training. You can't go wrong. So go to my website, TonyYoungs.com or TonyYoungsCoaching.com.